one. Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about where I hope the meta shifts and how the heart cross phase is starting to finally die down. So, as with any long-standing game, there are many ups and downs in terms of meta shifts and what becomes popular and unpopular. And presently speaking, or at least for the past several months, the heart cross meta has somewhat dominated everyone's expectations and basically what people have used. Now, while there is a changing of the guards, so to speak, in terms of the level of power that is available now, it's not taking away from the fact that Miru, Ranove, Coyote, and as well as any other high-end heart cross leader are weak by any means. They are just simply not as powerful or potent as they used to be compared to other options available. So in this video and subsequent article, I will be discussing basically the rise of the heart cross meta, why it became popular, as well as why it's declining, and finally I'll be discussing how I would like the meta to shift and where I hope the direction Puzzle & Dragons takes us in the next 6 months. So, a heart cross is essentially matching a cross of heart orbs, so exactly 5 in a T formation, and this will provide you with additional damage, a damage mitigation component that does carry over on a sweep. So that means you are able to use a heart cross to tank large preemptives on the subsequent floor, and to a certain extent it makes you somewhat immortal provided you actually have enough heart orbs. Because when it was released, it was just simply too strong and too powerful, because you're able to basically deal amazing amounts of damage and have incredible survivability that somewhat trivialized most people's endgame teams overnight. And every game needs power creep to a certain extent, and it should be done within manageable steps, not long jump hurdles. And the heart cross meta was a gigantic long jump hurdle, because we went from having leaders like, say, Awoken Lucifer, who was 1.82 times health, 16 times attack, and 1.82 times recovery, to Miru, who is effectively 4 times health and recovery and 49 times damage. So more than double the survivability and triple the damage output, as well as being bind immune. Like, this does not compare. Like, it's like not even comparing apples to oranges. This is like an entire food group to something useless. Like, the point being is, heart crosses were too powerful when they released, and it took Gung Ho a very long time for them to actually create something that was at least competent or capable of keeping up with them, as well as dungeon mechanics that could actually cause them problems. Because for the most part, everyone just started playing heart cross leaders, and yes, you could play other leaders, they still could clear content, but they were not as efficient nor as safe. So there is obviously some downsides to the heart cross meta, most notably that you actually have to make the cross to gain the defensive multiplier as well as offensive capabilities. But to be fair, usually if your damage mitigation is so high, you only have to heart cross every other turn when stalling. So basically, when it was released, there was mixed emotions for the most part. Some people were happy because, like, yay, I have new things I can use. But some players were upset because if they were already pushing endgame content, all their leaders became invalidated. So it wasn't even a transition, it was just like, suddenly, you have to have a heart cross leader to effectively tackle endgame content. So it left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth because all that hard work they had from before was somewhat invalidated. So, with that being said, the heart cross meta was also non-intuitive for matching, because making vanilla combos, or maybe say a TPA, or even a 5-orb 1 enhance is a little more logical in terms of spatial matching and positioning, whereas the heart cross takes up a lot of space on the board, and it's not very intuitive. You don't see like 5 heart orbs and think, oh, I want to make them in a cross formation. You probably want to put them in some other way, shape, or form. So that obviously was a lot of factors that made it become less popular with the average person. So, as I mentioned already before, the heart cross teams are quite orb hungry. You require at least 5 heart orbs for the cross activation, and then you also require orbs for damaging. And those damaging orbs are basically based on your color for your team. But the point of the matter is you actually have to manage 2 different resources, as well as quite a large number for both of them for effective damage, as well as the fact that heart cross takes up space and lowers your overall combo count. So, with that being said, think about it. A heart cross takes up basically 9 spaces, because it's like it's basically 3, 3, and then there's 4 little blank spaces. So basically 9 spaces are used up by one combo. So you have to basically sacrifice higher combo count because if you're, say, a row-based team, like, say, Miru, you have to make a row of light with the cross. So right away you've taken away effectively half of the board, and then it's like you only have half of the board to play with for other combos. So it makes it very challenging to create combos from a Heart Cross team. And this was actually one of the biggest counters to them. So for right now, Colosseum is the hardest content you can play through right now, and Heart Cross teams fare very poorly in there because of the very high combo shields and the fact that you're so orb hungry that you may require actives, as well as it being challenging to survive incoming attacks without a Heart Cross every single turn. So with encounters of, say, 7 or 8 combo shields, it's very challenging to hit that required amount with a Heart Cross and rows. Like, it's just nearly impossible. Like, to hit 8 combos with a row and a Heart Cross is almost impossible. You need to pray to Skyfalls, and it's just not a forgiving enough dungeon. And that's why most people don't bring a Heart Cross team into Colosseum. So, perhaps, like, right now, Colosseum is the hardest thing released even in Japan, so we don't know what's going to be the next step in terms of hard endgame content. And it'll be interesting to see what point of view or advantage they take, and will Heart Crosses still be viable in those dungeons moving forward. But it's my belief that they probably will keep introducing those higher damage requirement dungeons as well as higher combo shields as well. So right now, Heart Crosses can still definitely clear Arena 3 and lower with ease, but it's just tougher when you're moving into those higher combo nature dungeons. So now where I hope the meta shifts. So basically, while I was writing this post, this was actually written a couple days ago, Gung-Ho has been releasing many new evolutions of pre-existing cards, and most of those do feature those 7 combo awakenings. And this is actually kind of the direction I want Pad to go, because outside of the, like, one of the initial allures of Pad initially was obviously, like, the team building, the collection, and some of the exploration, because, like, it was a whole new game at the point in time. But obviously the main draw is the actual orb matching and puzzling. And with Heart Crosses, it's just not as exciting in my opinion. Like, having more combo-oriented leaders is fun to me, and that is where I hope Pad takes it, because when I sit at endgame content right now, and I have access to co-op button farming, like, there's very little orb matching actually required. Like, oftentimes it's like, oh, well, I want to farm a dungeon, but I need to play it, say, 20 times. I'm going to try and do as fast as possible. I'm going to button through it. Like, it's just this way of the game. And it may seem barbaric to actually match orbs, but it is fun. And my hope is that with the new endgame content, you are going to require leaders that require higher skill caps to actually overcome. Now, I feel like a card like New Year's Yomi was probably the best step in the right direction, because it requires combos for activation as well as interesting twist. It requires 5 or 1 enhance, as well as using that 7 combo awakening. So everything put together was exciting, and that's where I hope many new cards start taking, like new reincarnated evolutions, and like that's where I hope that's where the game travels or transitions into, because you need to create a combo leader that is rewarding for combos. So you hit enough combos, you have damage mitigation, you have those 7 combo awakenings, so you do have damage control. You have like that 5 or 1 enhance for like another layer of damage control. You can make 5 or 1 enhance, less combos, or just pure combos without the 5 or 1 enhance, just to control your damage better, because that's something we do need, especially for Arena 3, or possibly future spawns and content. So right now, combo leaders are not very rewarding. Like, they don't reward you for those extra combos outside of higher damage, but high damage is not that important anymore. Yes, you do need it, but with so many different teams and leaders available that can deal out spectacular amounts of damage, it's not really that important. So what I hope is that future cards kind of mirror the whole idea of New Year's Yomi, obviously with different active skills and possibly different awakenings, but the idea is I want something that is rewarding for combos as well as some sort of damage mitigation. So, in conclusion, like, the Heart Cross meta has been declining, most notably because Colosseum has come out, and it just lowered the chances of a Heart Cross team successfully clearing it, just because of the higher combo nature, as well as the orb hungry reliance on things. So, this is where I hope Pad does transition into the next 6 months. New things may come out, but I do feel like that is kind of the direction Gung-Ho wants to take it, because when you release so many 7 combo awakening cards, it's only a matter of time before we start actually having relevant leaders that can fully utilize them. So let me know what you think about like where the meta is currently and where do you hope it shifts in the future in the comments below. Hopefully you all have a mantastic day and happy puzzling!